Hey everyone, welcome to week 2. I just want to quickly go over what is on our plate for this week so that you understand what assignments are due ahead of you here and how to complete step 1 of the research paper. All right, so as far as assignments go, this week will actually be a little bit easier than last week. We're covering chapter 17 in the textbook, which is looking at westward expansion. You're going to have some optional videos to supplement that reading. You're also going to have the optional lecture to supplement that reading. So take advantage of those if you choose. But what you need to complete for sure is you need to read chapter 17, and as you do, complete the chapter 17 reading and note-taking guide that I've provided here. Okay, your answers, detailed, thorough answers, are going to serve as your notes that you will submit for the week 2 notes. And they will also really aid you as you take the Chapter 17 quiz that is due by Saturday. Okay, so use those answers from the reading and note-taking guide to help you answer the Chapter 17 quiz questions correctly as well. That's the purpose of it. All right, you also have step 1 of the research paper due this week. And this is actually a really easy assignment to complete. It's due by Saturday as well. But a lot of students get confused on it, and it's either because I don't explain it well in my instructions, or it's because students aren't used to completing a bibliography assignment, or maybe not used to using the Chicago style when completing a bibliography assignment. Okay, so I want to go over that quickly in this video. First and foremost, click into step 1 early this week and read through all of these instructions, because really I give you everything you need in these instructions. Okay, so read through it. I even give you a couple of examples. One example of a bibliography entry on the source by Gar Alperovitz. You're welcome to just copy and paste that and use that as your first bibliography entry. All right, and then you'll need to do the same process for the other 5 required sources that I've given you. The other thing you need to do is complete short, brief author biographies. All right, I want to know their professional bio, what they do for a living, right? What is their profession? What is their area of expertise, or their areas of expertise? If they teach, what subjects do they teach? Where do they teach? Where did they get their education? And then what else have they published? What else have they written and published? All right, just give me some examples. This is just really a chance to vet our sources, to get to know who our authors are, and to understand why they are considered credible sources, right? Experts in this field of World War II and the Cold War era, and specifically our topic, which is the decision to drop the atomic bombs. All right, anytime you're reading anything, especially in the information age, you want to make sure you vet your sources and know that they are credible experts on whatever they're speaking about. Okay, so that's why we're doing this exercise. You need to do short author biographies on all 6 of your authors. So here are all of your authors listed here. Google search them. Use either their faculty page or a professional website to get that key information that you need. And again, keep it short and just keep it all about their academic background and their professional background. All right, so here's an example on Gar Alperovitz. You're able to just copy and paste this author biography as one of your submissions for step 1 as well. All right, so 2 things you're accomplishing in step 1. Bibliography entries for all 6 sources, and short author biographies for all 6 authors of those sources. Okay, so I've given you an example of a bibliography entry for Gar Alperovitz and an author biography for Gar Alperovitz. That means you can just copy and paste those and you're done with Gar Alperovitz, right? So then you move on to PMS Blackett, right? So you will just Google search this author and you will write up a short biography, and then you will give me a bibliography entry for his source, which is right here. Okay, so I've listed all 6 of your required sources here. I give you all of the information you need to complete the bibliography entries. All you really need to do is just put everything in the right order and format. So let me show you how to do that. How did I take this information here for the source written by Gar Alperovitz and put it into the right format, which is this right here, using the Chicago style? Okay, I'm going to show you. So the first thing that you'll notice is this bold black heading over each one of these sources that tells you what type of source it is. A chapter in an edited book, a journal article, or a magazine article. Okay, that's important because when you click this link to go to the Chicago Style Guide, you're going to want to make sure that you find the appropriate source type to find your example of a bibliography entry. So let's look at Gar Alperovitz. Gar Alperovitz's chapter that he wrote is a chapter from an edited book. That's the source type. So when we come over here, we want to look for these bold red headings and look for, here we go, chapter or other part of an edited book. Okay, so this is the section where we're going to find our example that we'll use as our template. All right, so if I am going to use this bibliography entry as my template, and you'll notice under the chapter or other part of an edited book section, they give you an example of how to write a note or a shortened note. That's if you're doing footnotes or endnotes. Don't worry about that. Just look for the bibliography entry. That's the example that you want to use. All right, so I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go over to a Word document and paste it. Okay, this is my example here. All right, now let me switch back over, and I'm going to look at my source information for Gar Alperovitz. All right, so what's the first thing that I need? The first thing I need is my author's name, followed by a period. And look at the way it's written. It's last name, comma, first name, and then middle if you have that. All right, so my author's name is Gar Alperovitz. All right, so last name first. I'm just going to copy that and put it in place here. And then comma first name, right, and period. I don't know why this one's coming out bold. Let's just write it in. Last name, comma first name. Okay. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is put the title of his chapter in quotation marks, and it's right here. And when we look at our example, we can see that it's just going to be that title of that chapter in quotation marks. Okay, the next thing that we have, I'm just going to do this down here, make it easier. So the next thing we need is in, and then the title of the book that it's in. So let's look at our example over here. It is from Hiroshima's Shadow, Writings on the Denial of History and the Smithsonian Controversy. That's the name of this book that was edited together by Kai Bird and Lawrence Lifschultz, where they pulled all of these different chapters from different authors. Okay, so this is the book that it's in. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to put in and the title of that book. And notice the title of that book is going to be in italics. Every time you're listing a book title or a magazine title, not an article title, but a magazine or academic journal title, all right, that's all going to be italicized. All right, let's look back now and see what we need next. Okay, so the next thing we need, we're going to put a comma after the book title. Here, I'm looking at my example up here. And then I need edited by and the name of the editor or editors. Okay, edited by, and in this case, it's Kai Bird and Lawrence Lifschultz. All right, so let me just copy that and drop it right in here. Okay, then they have a comma in the example, and then the page numbers, followed by a period. Okay, so do we have page numbers here? We do. So I'm just going to copy that, drop it in there, put a period at the end of it. Lastly, we need the city it was published in, followed by a colon. Okay, Stony Brook, Connecticut. Let's copy that, paste it here, put a colon after it. Then the name of the publisher, comma, the year it was published, period. All right. So the name of the publisher, let's find it in here, the Pamphleteers Press. And while we're here, what year was it published? 1998. Okay, so we can remember that. We'll copy the name of the publisher. Put a comma after it, just like in the example. And then the year, 1998. And here is our finished bibliography entry. All right, so when you go to your next one, now you're going to do the second source, a bibliography entry here. This is also a chapter in an edited book. In fact, it's a different chapter from that same book that the Gar Alperovitz source was in. All right, so you're just going to do the exact same thing that you did on that first one for the second one, but just change the title of the author and the title of the chapter, right? Now, when you get to source 3, it's going to be a journal article. That's what type of source it is, okay? So all you're going to do is you're just going to switch back over to this page where we have the Chicago Style Guide, and you're going to look for the bold red section for a journal article. There it is right there. You scroll down until you find your bibliography entry example, and this is where you're going to use this example as your template to plug in your information in the correct order. Now, at the end here, you'll notice at the end of this example, you have a website here. Don't worry about that. Okay, just use the information that I give you right in here and plug it into the right order. Okay, that's all you got to do. So that's what you're going to do for all 6 of these sources. Okay, a bibliography entry for each using that Chicago Style Guide. All right, and then again, just Google search all 6 of your authors, find a reputable website to get key information about their professional and academic background, and just write it up in about 2 to 3 sentences. All right. If you have any questions, send me an email, but hopefully that explains step 1 so that there's not a lot of mystery around it, so that you don't get confused or overthink it. It's actually very easy, so you can get started on this early this week and have it done well ahead of Saturday's due date. All right. Have a very great week.